Okay, hey, hi, hello, welcome back. Third time's the charm. I kept recording this and keeping my mic muted. I'm awake, I swear. So this is part 4 of this little series I'm doing. I am Alex, you are you. We're talking about resources today. I said part 4, I meant part 3. There might be a part 4, but hopefully this will be it for today. We're going to talk about resource changes and maybe some event changes. But throughout the history that we're portraying, there were some major changes in resources in the North Americas that were huge motivators economically and as far as where populations ended up settling. The one that is really well featured in the game is the gold rush in 58? Yeah, no, 48. Had the 48ers, 49ers in Northern California. Now, that was far from the only one. The first one we're going to talk about is the Georgia Gold Rush. Went from 1828 to 1840, really ran from about here to about here. It was a key motivator in the Cherokee in particular getting removed, as well as other native groups being removed from this area. That was a huge part in the increasing population in the southeastern United States at that time, was people trying to just make it rich with gold. These mines stayed in operation. They really peaked around 1840, 1841. Some more gold mines were opened in North Carolina in 48. No, that's not right. 42? 40s. But for the most part, by 41, 42, it was really peaked out. Still, it is a huge contributing factor to the relocation of indigenous people, so probably worth portraying in the game. I do eventually, probably not at first, but eventually want to model and think about how I'm showing off the transition from cotton-based economies to more diversified economies, more diversified resources, but not at first. Up to the Civil War, it's mostly accurate that this is all cotton. Even to the modern day, there is a decent amount of cotton grown in the South, but other crops came to prominence afterwards, and tobacco changed as well, but we'll get big fish first. Gold wasn't just in this region, it was also found in Northern California, so we'll end up adding that. Pikes Peak in Southeastern? Yeah, Colorado isn't featured in the game. This map shows when gold or different resources were added, and nothing here, so we'll have to add that there. We're going to have to add gold in here, and maybe up here as well. We'll fidget with this a little bit. Gold in Idaho is in the wrong place. Should be over here. And the gold rush in Idaho was in 1855, not 1861, so this will happen even earlier. Montana had a gold rush in 1860, and that isn't portrayed. The Comstock lode in northwestern Nevada, which is kind of an ambiguous area, or northwest, northeast. God, I get so fucked up with east and west sometimes. Silver and gold. It was one of the biggest deposits ever found in the United States. Comstock lode was a big deal. Not portrayed. Fraser Canyon Gold Rush in 1857 was a huge motivator to people moving to the Pacific Northwest, particularly British Columbia. That really needs to be included. It was one of the first gold discoveries that led to the whole Yukon Trail, Yukon Gold Rush, Alaska Gold Rush. It's a very important step in moving up in this direction and populating this area, which Victoria 2 doesn't really do. There's a Porcupine Gold Rush in 1909 in here-ish in Ontario, which is actually kind of interesting. We need to put some coal into southwest Iowa because look at all this coal. It's not just contained in Arkansas here. It also goes up here. It's pretty notable. It's a hell of a lot bigger impact on the economy there today and since 1836 than cattle. It is kind of tricky to portray these changes. Like, today, the coal industry is a lot bigger there than the livestock is. but it hasn't always been that way, and do I want to set up events for when that transition happens, or maybe it happens once it reaches a certain technological development or population? I don't know. So I'm probably just going to change it from the start date for now. It'll be inaccurate at the beginning, but be more accurate towards the end. Or I could throw one of these in, and maybe that's the best way to do it. I'll think about it. There's coal in Northwestern Colorado. Again, there's more than cows in Colorado. There's the precious minerals and energy industries are huge in Colorado and have been for some time. Southern Ohio, this cotton needs to be changed to iron. The iron industry, the steel industry, there's a reason this is the Rust Belt, was a much bigger thing here at the time. There's some more steel I want to add in a few other places and change a little bit. We need to add iron in Newfoundland and Labrador, because this is not just fish. Give Upper Idaho to USA. Why did I write that? It already is? Okay, whatever. Timber in East Texas. Eastern Texas had for a long time forests. The forests were eventually deforested, as you do with settlement, but early days of Texas, a lot of the lumber used to build cities or get them started out in forests in this area. Even today, there are some notable, couple of national forests in eastern Texas, I think, that are now protected. Coal in Kansas, coal in Colorado, oil in New Mexico isn't a thing. New Mexico still has a pretty big oil industry, as do a lot of places. Northwest Montana, or Nebraska needs livestock, grain. I have no idea why the hell Nebraska has fruit, because Nebraska doesn't really grow fruit. We need iron in central Tennessee. We replaced the Kansas fruit with grain because, again, no real fruit coming from there. If we're talking about major fruit growers and exporters of the United States, and we're at 7 minutes, I'll try to cut this off at 10. Florida, definitely a big one. California, definitely a big one. No. Yes. So we'll fudge that a little bit. Coal and cattle in Wyoming need to be added in. Louisiana, this grain should be replaced with fish. Fishing is still shrimp, I think. Insert your... Why the fuck am I thinking Sherlock Holmes? That is not the name. Bubba Gump Shrimp is from what film? Tom Hanks. Nope. No, I know it's not Sherlock Holmes. I don't know why the fuck. Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump. There we go. There's a reason why in Forrest Gump there's the shrimping joke here. It's kind of endemic of the era. Creole food and New Orleans has a lot of fish. Arkansas should have more cattle in here. I'm adding more coal to more places, so I want to add cattle in here. Cattle is more of an industry there today. Livestock industry is bigger here than it is coal industry, so we'll change that out. Michigan should actually have some fruit added. Michigan has is one of the nation's largest exporters, if not the largest exporter of cherries, I think. So, bam, there you go. Indiana should have some coal in it. Should have some grain in it, not... What is this? Timber? Lumber? Yeah, timber. Nah. As someone who grew up in northern Indiana, there were forests there once upon a time, but nah, dog. It's all corn. It's all corn and soybeans now. Central Indiana actually had oil for a long time. Indiana gas boom in the 1880s should be portrayed here, so we'll probably try and add that in. Ohio had an oil rush in 1870, so I'll try to portray that too. And then, oh god, there's a lot more. You take the point, though. We're about at 10 minutes. I'm just trying to show the scope of resource changes we're going to be trying to implement. I say we, it's me. It's just me working on this. Yeah, so let me know if you have ideas or major changes that I've missed out on, or corrections to the vanilla map, because I'd love to know before this gets done. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Um, hopefully I'll have some more interesting stuff up on the channel, like, I don't know, some gameplay or something like that, but this is what you get for now. Till tomorrow, or later, I'll say toodaloo, take care, see you then, bye-bye.